Sheila Ellis asks, how can low-income people change their paradigm and shift themselves out of the poverty cycle and into wealth?
That's a very easy one to answer. All they got to do is set up a construct where they attract, bring more capital and wealth into their environment, into their milieu. That's an easy one. See, people can advance their causes best and quicker by owning a business. A business will attract capital and wealth 6 to 7 times faster than owning a job. Most blacks are always trained to go out and look for a job. Blacks are not being trained and cultivated, being acculturated to go out and build businesses. And a business is not designed to reduce your poverty level. A job is not designed to increase your poverty level. That's what I mean. All a job is designed to do is to maintain you, to keep you 1 week away from starvation, unemployment, and food stamp lines. If you want to eradicate or reduce your poverty paradigm, you got to learn how to create wealth and get more wealth and income. You can do that a number of ways. First of all, you start off by building a business and holding the money that you got already. Do not let it out of your hands unless it bounces, or out of your race until it bounces 8 to 12 times. That's the first thing you do. Secondly, you create businesses that will attract money and wealth into your community, so they can pass through your hands along with everybody else 8 to 12 times. In other words, you only had $1, you build a business, and you start practicing group economics, and that dollar is circulated 8 to 12 times. That $1 you had now becomes 12, it can go up to being $12, and so you can multiply your income 12 times. Or the last thing you can do, you can go out and start printing your own money and get rich off of printing your own money. But black folk have to learn how to play the game and how you get money and wealth and resources, and understand the difference between wealth and income. See, there's a big difference in that. Income is important, but it's not as important as accumulating wealth. Income is the fruits of your labor, but after you paid your bills, what's left is called wealth. What black folk lack is wealth. They don't have any wealth. They got 1/2 of 1% of wealth. They cannot compete. They cannot survive. They're not going to be able to make it unless they increase wealth. And you can't get wealth by working a job. Only way you can get rich working a job is if you're good at stealing. And we do not have any institutionals to cultivate black children. Now, you asked about why earlier. You asked me something about how do you treat young 5 and 6-year-old kids?
Oh yeah, Melanie Payne said, how would you start children under 5 out on the path to financial enlightenment?
Well, you do the same thing that you imitate the other groups. They imitate the Jews, for instance. The Jews in their synagogues, they teach their kids starting in the early grades at 5 and 6 years of age. They tell them up front that you have to own a business. They say, and remember, when you own that businesses and in your communities, that whatever you want to buy in life, is you have to remember first and foremost that someplace a Jew is making it, manufacturing it, selling it. That's who you buy it from. And see, we don't have that kind of acculturation process in the black community. Or if you go to the Asians, they do the same thing. Asians will teach their kids, when they're very small, they get little switches, switch their legs up and punish them. And ask them, what do you want to do in life? There are 3 steps. They said, what's that? And they said, first you whip his legs and tell him he has to go to school. And then when he goes to school, he must strive always to get straight A's in the place he can. Get the best grades possible in school. And he does that all the way through school. He should not be satisfied just getting C's and D's or just getting by. He has to get A's. And they learn that. So when the kid graduates, then they say, now, after that's step 1 complete. When you graduate, you go out there and you look for a job. You look for a job, in a specific field. And now watch this. Now, you look for a job first in a specific field. When you get that job, never stay in that job more than about 3 years. And then you learn a specific part of that job. You learn one aspect of it. If you learn in the stock room or inventory control, or you're learning management. That's what you learn. You learn that. And after 3 years is up, you resign from that job and go to another industry, but the same industry basically. And you go into another section of it. This time you might go into marketing and sales. You learn that aspect of it and stay in that job no more than 2 to 3 years. So after about 5 years or 6 years, a typical Asian kid says, I've gotten the best grades ever since I was small. I've worked in this industry in one section. I've worked in another section, and now when I put those 2 sections together, I've now graduated. I'm ready to go to the 3rd level. The 3rd level means that they're now prepared to take a risk. They're going to go out and start their own business. That's how they get into it. And that's why if you look at the results in this country, 1 out of every 10 Asians are in business. 1 out of about every 35 whites are in business. 1 out of about every 54 Hispanics are in business. But only 1 out of 105 blacks are in business. You don't have it, so you cannot transfer the wealth. You cannot change the paradigm because you don't have the structure in place to change the paradigm. You don't have anybody acculturating you. You don't understand what you're doing. You're in a capitalist society and don't even know how to practice capitalism. There's no way you can do it. What you've been taught by your family and your home, your school, and your politicians and your civil rights leaders is go out and look for a job and work for somebody else until you get to be old, and then you retire and get a watch and go home and sit down and look at TV and drink beer. You can't make it. You can't compete. You're not going to make it.